Welcome back, everybody, to TCG TV. It's Brody Tenant with Tenant Commercial Group. Hope everybody's having a great day and a great week. We've been hearing a lot of terms such as pre-COVID leasing and post-COVID leasing in regards to pricing, and just want to kind of go over the actual marketplace right now and what we should see in regards to market rents. So we've been getting the overarching theme that rental rates are going to go down in the commercial real estate market, and we get kind of this new term, pre-COVID pricing or post-COVID pricing, has become something that's been more relevant, and that's just kind of anticipating that the rates are going to go down at some point, and kind of already went down. But surprisingly enough, we actually haven't seen the rental rates take a drop at all. Based upon statistics from third and fourth quarter of 2019 versus the first two quarters of 2020, we actually haven't seen any rental rate drops, surprisingly. But that comes with a couple other things. I mean, there are some anticipations that obviously vacancies are going to come up, as some businesses are having the stay-at-home order that doesn't allow them to operate, or there's some other restrictions that just aren't making these businesses as profitable. So as their leases come up, some of these tenants will not renew. You know, as these vacancies do come up, is there going to be demand to replace them? Which I think is going to be where the gap is. Once that happens, I believe then there's going to be a decrease in the marketplace and the rental rates, because if they have a lot of vacancies and they're having trouble getting demand to fill them, it's going to be kind of a competitive market to find out what landlords are going to get these tenants into their space and fill these vacancies. So we haven't really seen a drop in the actual rental rates yet, and this is mainly in the retail space. And there's retail and space, there's industrial space, office space, flex space, ground leasing with land, and they're all different based upon different sectors and different business models. But as a whole, in the retail space, we haven't seen a drop in the rental rates yet, but that's not to say it isn't to happen in the future. Now, one other analytic, which it may sound crazy that the rates haven't dropped at all yet, but the leasing activity has really taken a decline since last year. So when I say leasing activity, I mean the number of leases that have been signed in the first two quarters is drastically less than what was drafted in Q3, Q4 of 2019. So that has to play a lot with that demand in regards to filling these vacancies as they're coming up. And I think that's going to really be abundant going forward as more vacancies come available. Obviously, demand now is still not high for opening up new businesses and new locations, but I think that demand is going to be relatively the same. And then especially as these vacancies start coming up over the next year or two, that's when we're going to start to see more vacancy with already current low demand for new brick and mortar. Some spaces are going to have more vacancies come up, and that's going to cause the rental rates to go down. And now some areas are actually doing great. You know, the industrial space is actually leasing very well. There's not many vacancies that are not being filled. There's still a lot of production and commercial industrial uses that are still operating at a high level, and still always demand for that sector. So we specialize both in industrial and retail, and we kind of see it on both ends of what businesses are operating, doing well during this pandemic, and some businesses that are really thriving in the flex and industrial space. And I think there's going to be a turnover in the retail space of some spaces that are some concepts maybe that weren't great retail, actual walk-in retail, and some of these food operators are going to have trouble filling their stores and filling the restaurants, converting into some other socially distant appropriate models, and maybe some models that work with a less of a footprint, or less of a amount of clientele that need to actually come into the store or to the restaurant. So we're going to see just kind of a reuse of some of these spaces. And not to say if you have retail space, your landlord has some retail space, that your rental rates are automatically going to go down. It really depends on the location, kind of what your demographics are, what type of need is in your marketplace, and how accommodating and how creative can you kind of get some of these tenants that are looking to start new ventures or these new concepts that currently weren't in your space. There may be some shifting that has to go on. So there's going to be a shift in the marketplace, and I think there's going to be some sectors that do great. There's going to be some increase in vacancies in some properties, unfortunately, and demand for some of the retail is going to be tough for some of the normal concepts we're used to seeing. So there's going to be some change in the marketplace. You got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to find the right tenants for your space, and vice versa for tenants. You find opportunity to bring a new concept where it currently wasn't, or maybe something that wasn't, that because of the pandemic, unfortunately, it's maybe they're going out of business or they've decreased their footprint. So there's some opportunity on both sides to be creative, be adaptive. Some new concepts and reuse some space can really go a long way to get through this, and through the future, there's going to be some opportunity. So hopefully that was helpful for everybody. That's our take on pre-COVID, post-COVID leasing. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My number is 443-717-2336, or reach out to us, comments, message us on Facebook. But let us know if we can do anything for you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. See ya.